In a move that has thrown corrupt African leaders into panic, Captain Ibrahim Traoré has once again proven he's not just a leader, but a living legend. A Pan-African firebrand who's turning Burkina Faso into a beacon of hope while exposing the rotten underbelly of African governance. Forget the whispers of envy from those silk-suited thieves who mock his humble old Toyota pickup, the one he's refused to upgrade despite building thousands of kilometers of gleaming roads. Traoré's latest masterstroke, handing over 155 spanking new buses to the public transport company Sotraco, slashing sky-high fares that have crippled families, and declaring war on the daily humiliations of urban poverty. And get this, he didn't even show up for the fanfare, too busy plotting the next phase of national rebirth, sending his Prime Minister Rimtalba Jean-Emmanuel Ouedraogo to do the honours on that fateful Monday in Ouagadougou. This isn't politics, it's poetic justice, a thunderous rebuke to the looters who jet-set while their people starve. Picture this, brothers and sisters. In the heart of Ouagadougou, under the relentless African sun, Prime Minister Ouedraogo stands tall, keys in hand, declaring, "This is a historic acquisition. Since its creation, Sotraco has never had such a well-equipped fleet." He's not exaggerating. These buses are game changers, tackling the quadruple curse of traffic gridlock that strangles commerce, deadly accidents from overloaded relics, choking air pollution that shortens lives, and transport costs so brutal they force breadwinners to choose between a ride to work or food on the table. I've spoken to Burkinabe on the ground, mothers who've walked 15 kilometers with market loads on their heads, fathers whose blistered feet tell tales of endless treks home after dusk, students who've dropped out because a bus fare equals a week's meals. No longer. Traoré's vision recasts mobility as a human right, injecting life into the economy. Farmers zip to markets without spoilage, workers arrive energized, entrepreneurs expand horizons. The delivery of 155 modern buses to Sotraco is a transformative milestone, a bold step toward reclaiming mobility as a right for every Burkinabe. These buses, equipped with advanced features like ergonomic seating, air conditioning, and enhanced safety systems, are designed to serve high-density routes in Ouagadougou and other urban centers, ensuring that commuters, students, workers, traders and families can travel with comfort, reliability and dignity. At the handover ceremony, Prime Minister Ouedraogo's voice rang with pride and conviction. This is a historic acquisition. Since its creation in 2001, Sotraco has never had such a well-equipped fleet. The buses are not just vehicles, they are a lifeline, a tangible manifestation of Traoré's vision to build a Burkina Faso where no citizen is left behind. This acquisition addresses multiple urban challenges at once. By increasing the supply of public transport, the buses will reduce fares, making mobility affordable for the poorest households. They will ease traffic congestion in Ouagadougou, where gridlock has stifled economic activity and wasted countless hours. Enhanced safety features will reduce road accidents, a major issue in a country where poorly maintained vehicles and overcrowded roads claim lives daily. The buses, designed with fuel efficiency in mind, will also curb air pollution, improving public health in a city where respiratory illnesses are on the rise. Ouedraogo's call for citizens to preserve these buses, the result of the Burkinabe people's sacrifice, was a reminder that this investment belongs to the nation, a collective asset to be protected through rigorous maintenance and responsible use. The government's reform of Sotraco is equally revolutionary. By restructuring it into a mixed economy company with 89.73% state ownership and recapitalizing it from 800 million to 5 billion FCFA, Traoré has transformed Sotraco into a strategic pillar of national development. This is not a temporary fix, but a sustainable model for public transport, ensuring that the buses serve the people for decades. The recapitalization will fund maintenance, driver training, and route expansion, ensuring that even remote areas benefit from improved mobility. Unlike other African leaders who privatize public assets to enrich their cronies, Traoré has strengthened state control over Sotraco, ensuring that profits are reinvested into the system rather than siphoned off to offshore accounts. The impact of these buses on Burkina Faso's education system is profound and far-reaching. Education is the cornerstone of Traoré's vision for a self-reliant, prosperous nation, and he recognizes that access to schools is a critical barrier for many students. In rural areas, where schools are often 15 to 20 kilometers away, the lack of affordable transport has forced countless children to abandon their education. Girls, who face heightened risks walking long distances, are particularly affected, with many dropping out due to safety concerns or financial constraints. The new buses will change this, providing safe, reliable and affordable transport to schools across urban and peri-urban areas. For example, a student in Ouagadougou's outskirts, who once walked 7 kilometers to school, can now ride a bus for as little as 200 FCFA, arriving rested and ready to learn. This will boost school attendance, reduce dropout rates, and enable students to participate in extracurricular activities like sports, debate clubs, and vocational training, enriching their development. By prioritizing student mobility, Traoré is investing in Burkina Faso's human capital, ensuring that the youth, who make up over 60% of the population, are equipped to drive the nation forward. Unlike other African leaders who build private schools for their own children or send them to elite institutions in Europe and North America, Traoré is building a system that uplifts every Burkinabe child, regardless of their background. The buses will also support teachers, who often struggle to reach schools in remote areas. By providing reliable transport, Traoré is ensuring that educators can focus on teaching rather than navigating logistical nightmares. This holistic approach to education, addressing both student and teacher mobility, sets Traoré apart as a leader who understands that a nation's future lies in its classrooms. Captain Traoré's brilliance lies in his strategic foresight, a quality that distinguishes him from the short-sighted leaders who dominate African politics. He understood that buses alone would be ineffective without a robust road network to support them. Since assuming power, Traoré has overseen the construction of 3,000 to 5,000 kilometers of roads annually, a pace that has left observers across the continent in awe and shamed leaders who have failed to deliver even a fraction of this progress. These roads, paved highways in urban centers, gravel roads in rural villages, are not just infrastructure, they are the arteries of a new Burkina Faso, connecting farmers to markets, students to schools, and workers to jobs. Traoré's approach to road construction is as revolutionary as his transport reforms. Instead of outsourcing projects to foreign companies, which often inflate costs and repatriate profits, Traoré purchased state-of-the-art road construction equipment, bulldozers, graders, compactors and asphalt plants, and trained thousands of young Burkinabe engineers and workers to operate them. This has created over 10,000 jobs for the youth, empowering them to build their own country while saving billions of FCFA. The roads, constructed with precision and speed, are designed to withstand heavy traffic, including the new buses, ensuring their durability and efficiency. The timing of the bus acquisition is a testament to Traoré's genius. Had he purchased the buses earlier, they would have been battered on Burkina Faso's dilapidated roads, leading to costly repairs and reduced lifespans. By prioritizing road construction first, Traoré ensured that the buses would operate on smooth, reliable surfaces, maximizing their impact and longevity. For example, the newly paved Ouagadougou-Koudougou corridor, a 120-kilometer stretch completed in 2024, will allow buses to operate at peak efficiency, reducing travel times and fuel costs. This strategic sequencing, roads before buses, demonstrates Traoré's ability to think several steps ahead, a quality sorely lacking among leaders who chase short-term optics at the expense of long-term impact. The bus acquisition is just one facet of Traoré's transformative agenda, which began with a bold push for food sovereignty. When he assumed power in 2022, Traoré was appalled by the fact that Burkina Faso, with its vast arable land, relied on food imports, while its farmers struggled with outdated tools and limited resources. He launched an ambitious agricultural revolution, distributing 400 tractors, 710 motor pumps, 5,000 tons of fertilizers, and 10,000 tons of improved seeds to farmers across the country. Cooperatives were formed to ensure equitable access, and training programs empowered farmers to adopt modern techniques like drip irrigation and crop rotation, the results have been nothing short of miraculous. In 2024, Burkina Faso's cereal production increased by 20%, with maize yields rising from 1.5 to 2.5 tons per hectare, and rice production doubling in key regions like the Sauru Valley. The country achieved near total food self-sufficiency in staples like sorghum, millet and rice, reducing import bills by 30% and freeing up foreign exchange for investments like the bus acquisition and road construction. Food prices have dropped, easing the burden on households, while farmers' incomes have risen, enabling them to invest in their communities. Traoré's agricultural revolution is a model for Africa, proving that with the right leadership, the continent can feed itself and export its surplus to the world. While Traoré drives an old pickup truck, a symbol of his humility and focus, other African leaders revel in obscene displays of wealth that mock the suffering of their people. From Nigeria's presidents to Kenya's governors, from South Africa's ministers to the DRC's warlords turned politicians, the continent is plagued by leaders who treat public office as a license to loot. Private jets, costing $50 million to $100 million each, are a favorite indulgence. Each one could fund 200 buses, 10 rural hospitals, or 50 schools. These leaders flaunt custom suits from Savile Row or Istanbul, costing $5,000 to $10,000 apiece, and Rolex watches worth $30,000 or more. Their Christian Louboutin red-bottom shoes, priced at $1,000 a pair, are a grotesque symbol of their detachment, each step a reminder of the millions who walk barefoot or in tattered sandals. Their hypocrisy is breathtaking. These leaders jet off to international summits in Gulfstream G650s or Boeing business jets, begging for loans and grants while their countries lack basic services. Hospitals are understaffed and under-equipped, forcing them to seek treatment in London, Dubai, or India. In one West African country, a president spent $70 million on a private jet, while the nation's only public hospital lacked ventilators during a cholera outbreak, leading to hundreds of preventable deaths. In an East African nation, a prime minister was spotted wearing a $20,000 Patek Philippe watch at a summit where he pleaded for debt relief, oblivious to the irony that his watch could have funded a year's salary for 50 teachers. Their children attend elite schools in Europe or North America, while their citizens' children study in crumbling classrooms or under trees, if they attend school at all. Traoré's refusal to indulge in such excesses is a direct rebuke to these leaders. His battered pickup truck, his simple military fatigues, and his unwavering focus on the people's needs expose their greed and incompetence. By redirecting Burkina Faso's mineral wealth, particularly its gold, which generates over $2 billion annually, into transformative projects like the bus acquisition, road construction, and agricultural reform, Traoré is showing what African leadership could achieve if resources were managed with integrity. Africa is not poor. It is a continent rich in gold, diamonds, oil, cobalt, lithium, and arable land. The problem is not resources but leadership. If every African nation had a Traoré, the continent could break free from the cycle of poverty and dependence. Traoré's revolutionary approach has made him a target both at home and abroad. Since assuming power, he has survived 16 assassination attempts, a chilling testament to the forces that seek to silence him. Western powers, particularly France, are rattled by his nationalization of gold mines, which have generated billions for foreign companies while leaving Burkina Faso with crumbs. By cutting ties with France and forming the alliance of Sahel states with Mali and Niger, Traoré is challenging the neo-colonial order that has kept Africa subservient for centuries. His pivot toward partnerships with Russia, China, and Turkey has further enraged Western capitals, which see their influence slipping in the Sahel. Corrupt African leaders, too, are threatened by Traoré's example. Some have resorted to dismissing his projects as AI-generated or fake, a desperate attempt to deflect attention from their own failures. These leaders, who have grown fat on kickbacks and bloated contracts, are ashamed by Traoré's integrity and results. His refusal to tolerate corruption, evidenced by his swift prosecution of officials caught embezzling funds, has sent a clear message. In Traoré's Burkina Faso, corruption is a crime against the people, and those who commit it will face the real music. In one high-profile case in 2023, A former minister was sentenced to 15 years in prison for diverting funds meant for rural electrification, a punishment that sent shockwaves through the political class. These assassination attempts and smears are not just attacks on Traoré, but on the very idea of a self-reliant Africa. His policies, nationalizing mines, building infrastructure, empowering farmers, are a direct challenge to the status quo, proving that Africa's resources can be used to uplift its people, not enrich its elites or foreign powers. Traoré's survival is a testament to his resilience and the support of the Burkina people, who see him as their champion in a world that seeks to keep them down. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's leadership is a blueprint for what Africa could become. His actions prove that the continent's challenges, poverty, poor infrastructure, food insecurity, are not inevitable, but the result of deliberate choices by corrupt leaders. Burkina Faso's progress under Traoré, 1 to 55 buses, 3,000 to 5,000 kilometers of roads annually, a booming agricultural sector, is proof that change is possible when resources are managed with integrity and vision. His focus on sustainable urban mobility, food sovereignty, and youth empowerment is a model for others to follow. If Africa had more leaders like Traoré, the continent could realize its immense potential. Imagine a Nigeria where oil revenues fund schools and hospitals instead of private jets. Picture a DRC where cobalt and gold profits build roads and factories rather than palaces. Envision a Kenya where public funds support farmers and students, not politicians' offshore accounts. This is the Africa that Traoré is building in Burkina Faso, and it is a vision that threatens the corrupt elite who cling to power through exploitation and deceit. As Traoré continues to shame these leaders, his example will inspire a new generation of Africans to demand better. Those who laugh at his pickup truck or mock his projects as unattainable will find themselves increasingly irrelevant, exposed by their own greed and incompetence. The Burkinabe people, empowered by their leaders' sacrifices, are building a nation where buses carry students to school, roads connect communities, and farms feed the population. This is the Africa that Traoré envisions, a continent that rises not on the backs of its people, but through their collective strength. In the face of assassination attempts, mockery, and resistance, Captain Ibrahim Traoré remains unbowed. His legacy is not in the luxury he rejects, but in the lives he transforms. As Burkina Faso rises, so too does the hope that Africa can break free from the shackles of corruption and neo-colonialism. Traoré is not just a leader, he is a visionary, a genius, and a symbol of what Africa can achieve when its leaders choose service over self. The continent watches, the corrupt tremble, and the future beckons. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is leading the way, and Africa will never be the same. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's leadership is a blazing torch, illuminating the path to a new Africa, one where the dreams of the masses are no longer crushed under the weight of corrupt elites. Africans must expect a future where leaders emulate Traoré's selfless dedication, channeling the continent's vast wealth, its minerals, lands, and ingenuity into transformative projects that uplift every citizen. Expect nations where public funds build hospitals that save lives, schools that nurture brilliance, and industries that create jobs, not mansions for the few. Anticipate a renaissance where African youth, inspired by Traoré's example, rise to demand accountability, rejecting leaders who prioritize personal gain over public good. Envision a continent where sovereignty is not a slogan but a reality, with nations harnessing their resources to stand tall, free from the grip of foreign exploitation. Africans must expect leaders who walk among them, not above them, who measure their success by the prosperity of their people, not the size of their bank accounts. Traoré's Burkina Faso is a clarion call. Expect an Africa where every child has a seat on the bus to opportunity, where every farmer has the tools to thrive, and where every citizen breathes the air of dignity and hope. The time for excuses is over. Africans must demand and build a future where Traoré's vision becomes the standard, igniting a continent-wide revolution of progress and pride.